Dímelo, Bo Dominican York. What's going on, mi gente? What the is going on? Ya tú sabes, loco. I gotta get straight into it. El cena of the morning, ayer fue Triumph of Bacchus, loco. This thing, God, this was good, bro. How beautiful this bottle is. This thing was just pumping, bro. This thing is... I did 2 sprays to the chest, 2 to the back of the neck, and that was it, and I left. And that was at 3 in the morning. Y mira, hasta que yo me bañé esta mañana como like let's say 11 something, I was still catching more like a skin scent. Well, actually, no. Listen, so I came home, I walked both dogs around the house, but then I take a long walk with the youngster, and on that walk I hustle and I pace, and it's actually hitting 90 degrees outside today. So this jammy just started coming back to life. Now I sprayed under my shirt so that way it stays contained on my chest, and then I had my work polo over that. So I guess maybe, I was subduing the fragrance somewhat, but honestly, I kept catching wafts and whiffs without having to look for it. And I didn't put any on my arms. So all I did, chest, back of the neck. So that way I can't bring my arm up to my nose. You know what I mean? I can't put my nose to something. I can't put my nose on my chest. I don't know if you can. And I can't put my nose on my neck. So this thing right here, coño loco. I gotta. So, sweetness, sweetest tobacco. I dare say almost like a cherry tobacco, but it's not. It's not cherry. The fruit, it's gotta be like a medley of fruit. Or is there a raspberry or something in there? It's not raspberry. It's like a medley of fruit. There's fruit, and it just makes it a sweet tobacco. And that tobacco note is intoxicating. They've used what I think has got to be some quality oils, because La Vaina, it's got to be quality oils. I'm not saying it's top tier or number 1, but I think it's a quality oil, because along with that tobacco sweetness, I know he's got sandalwood, and I know he's got something else blending in there that's just making it oh so creamy. This really, to me, might be up there almost with the kind of feeling I get from Naxos. I think Naxos intensifies this, and it's not this. They're both tobacco scents, which I wasn't even thinking about. I gotta be loving tobacco scents, like a lot of us do. Pero this gives me that, it's in that vein. You know what I'm saying? And in its own direction, but it's in that, it's like they've got a shared DNA. That's all. They share a DNA. So that sweet tobacco, to me, the fragrance stayed linear throughout the 8+ hours. So I put it on at 3. At 11 o'clock, I'm still smelling it as I'm getting ready to shower. And that's after taking a long walk and getting sweaty and hot and bothered again. You know what I'm saying? Out in the heat. And that thing just, it flowered. It blossomed up again. And my olfactory senses were picking up all of that oil. So that's really the big point. This guy, and pardon that, I'm using a camera stand or a tripod that, the way I've affixed it, it's blocking my vision of the screen. So I don't see 100% what I'm looking at, but I can see the top of it, so I can make sure that the top is centered. But this guy, and this bottle's beautiful, but this guy just, it lingers, it tethers itself to my skin and keeps projecting that same sweet tobacco, vanillic or vanilla-like, because it is. There's like a vanilla-like. It's got to be. But that's apart from that fruity note that I get with the tobacco. So sandalwood, vanilla, it all blends so freaking well. This thing continued to linger. Actually, I got complimented within 5 minutes of entering the building. But I played it off. You know what I mean? Because I know somebody else was wearing a scent. But I felt like their scent was louder. So I said, that's probably, you know what I'm saying? Thank you. I am wearing something, but it's probably, and I didn't go further. But, because I'm at work. I kind of laughed a little bit, but that was it. And this guy, man, whether it was me or the other guy that actually got the compliment, I'm taking credit for it. Because this thing continued to leave a trail strongly for the first hour and a half, 2 hours at work. And then it kept getting fainter. But when I would stop, right? So maybe people around me were getting the scent trail more than I was, because I boogie and I get to my destination and I don't always backtrack like I do when I'm at home. Sometimes I go back to my kitchen and I'm smelling what I'm wearing like I just sprayed it again. And I'm thinking it's got to be because I walked in this room earlier. Scents are so good sometimes. And that's why there's certain things that I'm not going to get the dupe. Now that I've experienced a lot of quality fragrance and oils, I will still buy a dupe if I maybe want to investigate that scent profile, that DNA, or see just for shits and giggles that how close is it, right? But and I'm not specifically talking about Triumph of Bacchus, right? And by the way, if I didn't say it, this is Argo's Triumph of Bacchus. I know I just started talking about it right away, but it's because, gosh, I really wanted to record this. I didn't have an intent to, but I couldn't get it off my brain how this, with 4 sprays. Now, it was a warmer day, but I'm not in the sunlight. I am literally in the darkness for the first 4 hours, and then I'm indoors for the next 3 to 4 hours or whatever. So I'm not in the direct sunlight. And this guy kept projecting and, slight trail for me. Not trail, let's say projecting, right? It kept giving me wafts. And that's why I wore it. I'm going minimal sprays, and I did 4 this time. But I'm going minimal sprays because I think yesterday I sprayed a little bit too much, and I forgot. I didn't post what I wore. I didn't wear a Nichonnet. I forgot what I wore, but whatever I did. Oh, I wore a Oud Wood. I think I sprayed a little bit too much, because I was expecting it to be lighter. And honestly, it's a little denser than I even remembered from wearing it heavily last year. Because that was one of the first fragrances that, let me grab it. Oud Wood is one of the first frags that my wife bought me when I first started this deep dive into the fragrance journey. And this guy, you know what? And I was thinking it yesterday. This might be my signature scent. This might be the signature scent. If I just gave away everything. Now, I still have to debate that. I have to put it on a list because there's other things that I've brought into the collection that are probably toppling Oud Wood. One being, and I don't think I would make this mine, but tobacco oud. You know what I mean? I haven't really dived into tobacco oud yet. This is raunchy, and I do wear raunchy scents to work sometimes. And again, I need to learn the appropriate spray level, right? Maybe I only do 2 sprays of this. One to the back of the neck, one to the chest. And see how it does. Does it just die? Does it linger? I don't know yet because I haven't worn that one to work. One I have worn to work, to say it by the camera, is Tuscan Leather. And I have oversprayed of this and I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck. This is intoxicating to me. I'm going to go on the other arm with this. So I'm wearing Carbon today because after I came home and showered, I actually switched to Carbon. But Carbon is kind of a neutral scent. And that's something that you know, I also wanted to talk about today, but man, oh gosh, guys, this might be the one. Actually, I don't know if I'd go oud wood. What would you guys do? Would you go oud wood or Tuscan leather as your signature scent? If you could only have one, you know, and you might not even pick a Tom Ford, right? But I'm just asking between these two, between Tuscan leather and oud wood, which would you make your signature scent? To me, that's a tough choice. Right now, I'm digging Tuscan leather. It is the newest of the Tom Fords that in the collection, and I've still worn it a mess of times already. But you know, just a quick chime in. Carbon is pretty neutral, and this is like my third wearing, and every time it gets a little bit better. I'm appreciating its neutrality a little bit more every time, and you can see my damn fingers behind it, but yeah, I'm appreciating it every freaking time just a little bit more. Dent is growing. Get those out of the way. Really, today's star is, come on, tobacco fragrance. And I can bring up a couple other. I've got, you know, others that rival this, that are compared to this, or this compares to. And I'll do that video one day, comparison of, you know, the 4, 5, 6 tobacco fragrances that maybe are in this vein, right? And I do that a lot. I've got Tuscan leather inspirations. So I can't say I'm against dupes and inspires. I mean, I've got dupes of these two. I had dupes of these two before I got these two. Now, this one, it took me longer to purchase, but this one was gifted immediately. So I had the OG literally within a week of having the dupe. And that was after testing the OG on hand. I didn't know my wife had purchased it. I tested the OG on hand, and I was like, yeah, this is, and then I bought the dupe, and you know, that's all she wrote. Because that was shortly after. That was not much long after my gateway fragrance of ombre leather. This is my gateway fragrance. I bought this for my wife. It sits on my side now. I don't know if she's got space, and I don't know. She's being nice and asking me to put it on my side. But I actually bought this for her, and this is such a beautiful scent to me. It really is. It has its similarities to Tuscan leather. Maybe that's why I love Tuscan leather as well. Gosh. But there is a huge difference between the two. There is a huge difference between the two, guys. Don't think that they're the same. Softer and more industrial with the ombre leather. Where'd I put? Oh, there it goes. The Tuscan leather has more bite, a little bit more depth and sweetness. It hits different. These two suckers hit different, guys. Don't get that twisted. These two suckers hit different. They're not the same. And you might prefer one over the other. I probably, it's like 51-49 if anything. Or 50.5 versus 51, you know what I mean. 49.5. Great DNAs. But, again, back to the star of the show, Argo's Triumph of Bacchus is, to me, a beast. Because I just did 4 sprays off this smaller, I don't know if it's a smaller atomizer than the 100 mil. Because this is a 1 ounce, 30 mil. It's the baby. That's all I needed right now. I'm getting a significant dent for the size. Actually not, because I haven't been using it as much. I've been rotating. So you don't always hit the same frag a lot. Unless it becomes your go-to scent. But that can change over time. But I made this video way too long. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with your Uncle Bo. Check out Triumph of Bacchus. It's a beast. If you overspray, you're going to be hitting people in the face. Not that's a bad thing. Not that that is a bad thing. I think it's a delicious scent. And then my scent of the day, Carbon Black. This thing. Guys, you cannot go wrong. I found this for like 60 bucks. 60 bucks. 60 bucks. And it works. And it's a beast. It lasts all day. I don't see how anybody could be offended by this unless they don't like a clean, out of the shower scent. This is a neutral, carbon metallic like, I think Ambroxan, probably. Some ISOE Super or Ambrofix or whatever they call their version. And that, you know, soapy DNA that Prada does. So you can't go wrong with this thing, guy. You cannot go wrong with this. When you don't know what to wear and you don't want to offend masses, this is an easy go-to. That's an easy go-to. And a lot of people compare it to Sauvage. They are very different, but do the exact same function, I think, right? In different capacity, they do the exact same thing. Sauvage. Now, this is the EDP. It's not the toilette. Is this a toilette? I believe it is. Yeah, this is an EDT. I wasn't even thinking about that. This is beast mode for an EDT. I haven't tried Sauvage EDT yet, so is it as beast mode as this is? They say it is. I need to sample it. But yeah, EDP works for me. Less neutral, and I think more like spicy woody. This doesn't seem as spicy woody, but that, you know, Ambroxan and stuff, it makes it have somewhat of a, I don't know, kind of a woody DNA in it, but you don't really detect woods per se. I don't know. Again, I've been doing this a year. I'm a freshman nose with an OG soul because at 50 years old, there ain't been much I haven't smelled except for this new stuff. So when like people bring up all these freaking, where'd it go? I know I got it down here. This was one of my first, bro. When I got gifted this, I must have been like 1980, 1981, you know what I mean? 1982, and I was either 5, 6, 7. I was young as fuck, man. And shout out to the wifey for getting me this. Actually, what I remember to be my first frag. But these guys can't go wrong. But today's star, remember, not those two. You need to try out Triumph of Bacchus. Get you a sample. If you go to Argo's website, you can get a sample. You can get a whole sample pack, or just pick whatever samples you want to try. Because I'd like to sample Sacred Flame, Danae, and Palace Athene. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys have a blessed day. Que Dios te bendiga. I combined the video into one and talked about many frags. I rarely do that. Anyway, que Dios te bendiga. I hope you enjoyed it. Damn, hit the TV. Que Dios te bendiga. Peace.